What's up, guys? Hope you can hear me okay. This is James from Adrenaline. Tonight we have a big show, so I'm going to dive right in, let everybody get back to the Mandalorian or whatever you're doing on a Friday night. Try to make it as quick as possible, but we have a lot to talk about. So for those of you who are getting shared this, and I encourage everyone to share this, it will be worth watching, I promise you. So share the stream, and if you're watching on a delay, if you don't know who Adrenaline is, I'll give you a 10-second overview. We were the first private label manufacturer in 1997 with the Angels. We invented the first 4-axis machining, the first 5-axis machining, the first rope twist. For about 5 years, our guns were the best guns on the planet with the LED and then the Adrenaline LCD. We had a little bit of competition from Cobra. Some people thought they may have been the best, but we won the world championship in back-to-back years. If you've seen Sunday Drivers, then when Rich Telford talks about how their guns worked so amazing that year and then they wiped everybody out, that was our guns they were using back then. Then we transitioned to an upper mid-tier gun, try to make it compete with the best. That was the Impulse. And I think we did a good job with that and made it more affordable. In today's numbers, our Angels were like $3,000. So we found we could sell a little better making a mid-tier gun. And we continued that with the Adrenaline Shocker, bringing both of those platforms up to competitive with any other gun. So that's kind of where a little bit about us. So I would say that one thing that's different about us is because we are true private label, we spend about 15 months to make a gun. So when we start a project, it usually takes about 12 to 13, 14 months of R&D, and the rest is just in production. So if we start today on a gun, then it comes to market in about 15 months, almost always. There's not much profit in that. That's why we went out of business and Cobra went out of business. And now we work out of my house with almost no overhead because you just can't spend 3 years doing 300 or 400 guns. But there is ego in it and we like it and we have a passion for it. So that's why we do it. So that being said, let's just dive right in. Everyone knows we're out of the Shockers, the first generation. And so we had a meeting in September to decide what we're going to do next. My wife, Jessica, voted nothing because, again, our facilities is my house. And it takes a lot of our time up. When we're doing this 12-month, 13-month process, it takes up so much time. We're always thinking about it, tinkering, and trying to make it the best we can be. But luckily, she lost the vote, and we are moving forward with another project. And as many of you may have guessed, that next project is the Adrenaline Lux. Some of you didn't guess that. Most people thought we were doing the Shocker amp, and we may one day, but if we have not started it yet, if we started it today, like I said, 2022 would maybe get the amp done, and we have not done that yet. But we are working on the Lux, and that is our current project. We usually do one at a time. I'm excited about it. We're excited about it. That's only the first big reveal tonight. There's a few of them. I'm going to drop some bombs. So I'm excited to tell you some of the things we're going to tell you tonight. I guess I'm going to go into another bomb, and this is one of the biggest ones I'm going to tell you tonight, is that our September meeting when we decided to do the Lux was September of 2019, not 2020. So what that means is, I didn't lie to anyone. Everyone said, you're about out of Shockers. What are you going to do next? I said, we had a meeting in September. Tell you soon. That's not a lie. It's just that the meeting happens in September of 2019. So what that means is we have a year under our belt with no waiting time for you guys. So if you run the clock forward 15 months, we're actually getting really close to the Adrenaline Lux. It's probably our most secretive project we've ever done. Will Arroyo always talks about how we have Adrenaline Laboratories. Well, in that Adrenaline Laboratory, there's a little secret door to the side with crazy locks on it. And in that room, for the last year plus, has been the Adrenaline Lux project. Really proud of the people that's kept that on the down low. Everyone at DLX and Rob from Blizzard. I'll explain why he was one of the only people that's seen it. And then in January of 2020, I talked to Corey Field from Seattle Thunder a little bit about it because normally we get a lot of playing time with these guns to go out, test, see what's wrong with them, see if there's anything we need to tweak. We don't normally just do milling and anno. We have to feel like we bring something substantive, some sort of change. two problems with the Lux project. One, it's so damn good. There's really nothing wrong with it. And two, we couldn't go out and play with a lot because people would see it. So I hit up Corey and say, hey, do you have any suggestions, anything people talk about? Give us some ideas to start with. So those two guys are really the only two people outside our company and DLX that knew about it. They did a great job keeping secret for so long. The other challenge with doing a Lux project is price. So again, we go, money is no object on modifications. When we do that, it drops it up. Like I said, our angels are like, today's value, like 3,000. Good luck selling a $3,000 gun in today's market. So we had a hard ceiling, and everything under that, it had to come under that for us, or we had to just eat into our profit. And some of it, we made it work, and some of it, we just started taking away our profit, which one reason, again, we don't make a lot of money, but we make a badass gun. So anyway, we are neck deep into, I'll tell you how far we are. We are pencils down on the Adrenaline Lux. It is done. It's complete. We finally finished it. I'm super excited about it. Very, very proud of it. We don't make profit on our gun, but we do have an ego. I feel like we deserve that since we spend a year on just one little project, not to make much on it. So we're proud of it. We are. And I think you're going to be pretty impressed. I think we could just go straight into the features of the gun. Since it's done. I've told you tonight I'm going to show CAD. Well, the reality is that's not a lie either. I'm going to show you CAD, but I'm also going to show you this gun. You're going to see it tonight. You're going to hear about pricing. You're going to hear about buying it. You're going to hear a lot about it, and there's going to be some more bombs drop. So the next big bomb I'm going to drop is that super honored to be the person to tell the world this. Is that the Adrenaline Lux is based on the next generation Lux. So this is not a Lux X. This is the next generation Lux. It's not out yet. That's going to be a next year gun, but our gun will be out. That's one of the things we're going to talk about soon, but we hope to get this gun under your Christmas tree. So if you want to get the next generation Lux before next year, this is going to be the way to get it. Maybe we'll have some new customers that aren't used to dealing with Adrenaline, that just they're early adopters, the iPhone 12 guys or whatever, that just want to get into the new Lux. We hope to make those people fans. But this is, we'll be talking a little bit about that, but mostly I'm just going to be talking about the Adrenaline Lux. And then, we're not DLX. We'll let them tell you about it next month or whenever they decide to talk about it. But this is not a Lux X. Almost all of our parts and features, unfortunately, are not backwards compatible to an X. There are a couple things, and I'll mention those tonight. For some of you guys, if you can't afford the gun, you may like these mods. But the advantage is it didn't limit what we were doing and what they were doing, obviously, to the platform, and left it wide open to just, dive in and make it even better than it already was. So let's just go straight to the mods now that you know that there's Adrenaline Lux and then there's a new Lux. So I'm going to just bring up the mod list, and I'll try to go through them one by one, and I'm going to come back and forth and do some other things. So actually, I'm not going to show this yet. I'm going to tell you two things first. One is when we came out with, so we were always the pioneers of milling. We fancy ourselves as like the guys pushing the limit. So when we came out with the shocker, we tried to do this wave pattern. First time ever that the pattern went across the whole body onto the ASA, one continuous pattern, the waves expanded. And we were really proud of that. And everybody said, oh, it's a ripper. And that bothered us. They still sold like daylights. People loved them. Most people wouldn't care about that. But behind closed doors, that really pissed us off because that was not our goal. And we didn't think that was the case. But if that's what people think, then that's what they see. So in this instance, I said, I don't care what we do with the outside. I don't care if it looks like we threw dog shit on the side and polished it and sent it off to Rob and those guys to make it look good. It's got to look different. It's got to be completely different. I don't want anyone saying we copied off anything. And so that was one of the very first things. That was a 2019 directive, is it's got to be radically different than anything you see now. And we did that. I'll say you're going to see some stuff here soon. Anything you do in CAD, it's pretty easy to do stuff in CAD. The question is, can somebody machine it? And then when somebody machines it, can someone polish it? Because a lot of people don't do polishing anymore. It's expensive. So most manufacturers have gone to just dust finishes. but we're a polish. Our polish is done here in the United States, and that's always been our thing. So it's got to be polishable. The guys at DLX said it's probably not going to be polishable, which is why I had to bring someone in. I brought Rob from Blizzard in and said, hey, can you polish? I sent him a picture of a CAD and said, can you polish this? And he said, I think. I said, okay, good. Well, like months and months later, this is like 4 months ago, I sent him a picture of a barrel and I said, okay, can you still polish this? And he just responded with one of those like wow emojis and said game changer. And I waited like 3 minutes. He didn't respond. And then I said, so bro, can you polish this? And he said, oh yeah, I can polish it. But he said that is a game changer. So we're proud of it. All along the way, people questioned it, but it did turn out. So we're excited about it. One of the other things you're going to see is, and it's on the list, is I'll just go ahead and bring up the list, and we'll start from the top. So these are features on the Adrenaline Lux. So the first one is I'm going to talk about the first couple things first. So we had the full body with the Triamid 5-axis design. So we were the first ones to do a 5-axis. This body is a 5-axis pattern. Some of you that know anything about this stuff, when you see it, you'll see why. But we were back to 5-axis. It is not like our Impulse where you have to spend 20 minutes cleaning it. And in fact, it's very easy to quick clean. The X-Ball guys are going to love it, how fast it is to clean. So the next thing we talk about though is the stainless insert and the balance weight improvements, this top thing. So what we've done is, when I talked to Corey, he said, hey, this thing's amazing, but some people think it could be a little smoother. And I said, well, how about if we do this, if we do that? One of them was, what if I made it a little less air efficient? What if we gave up a pod or two? It gets 13 pods. I watch Seattle Thunder play. You never walk on with 13 pods. And he said, no way. And I said, I don't understand that. And he said, that'll be a big deal. Don't do that. And that's why we're talking to him. I said, okay, granted, we'll take that into consideration. And we did not lose any air efficiency. In fact, we tried to improve it. So how can we make it smoother then if we can't do other things that we had intended? Well, one of those, and we'll talk about some of those features later, but one of those was just balance and weight. So they make a 12 gauge pistol. They also you can get a sawed off 12 gauge, and you can get a fully automatic 12 gauge shotgun with a big stock. And the difference is not in the shell. So the user experience is very different if you try to shoot all three of those guns, but the shell is the exact same gunpowder, same pellets, same everything, but the user experience is radically different. Well, the difference is in the recoil and the balance and the weight and everything is how that affects the user. So one of the ways we did it was to reallocate how the weight happened. So one thing we did, and this is the easiest, wrong thing. One of the things we did, and the easiest one is we want to put more weight in the front. So we threw a stainless insert, and you could do this at home, but every Adrenaline Lux comes with a stainless 687, which those are hard to find right now. So it was tough to get a lot of these, but we got them. So that puts a little more weight in the front. The other thing we did, and I'll give Ricky in our company, there's 4 of us, credit for this, is he said, okay, why are we stuck with the regular Lux back or the Freak back? Let's do our own Freak back. And so I talked to them. I said, hey, is there any reason, you had the Freak back, same design for so long, and mostly it's marketing, so you could see the Freak design and the insert size 687 or whatever. Well, now everybody in the world uses a Freak, and you know that the red insert is 687. Most people do. And if you put something in the morning, unless somebody sabotages you at lunch, that's still what you got in the gun. So we said, what if we just did away with seeing the Freak insert? We had a full body barrel back. It makes it smoother, easier to clean. We can add a little more weight, and we can do another new first for Adrenaline is continue the pattern from the gun onto the barrel. No one's done that before. We like to do new things first. You're going to see the milling itself as a first, and then the barrel concept is another first. So we started running the ideas up the chain. Our machine shop said that instead of running like, let's say it takes 10, 15 minutes to make a normal back, the first one was like 5 hours. So we got an engineer in, and he basically redid the way we were going to do tooling and machining and the actual aspect of making it to make it to where it was somewhat feasible. And for Adrenaline numbers, it works out. So we got a radical barrel back, which adds a little more material to it. And so the weight's a little more balanced. And I think it makes a difference, and it looks badass. So I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with the CAD on this. So I've talked about the full body design with the barrel, and we call it a Triamid. It's a 5-axis design. I'm going to show you here. I'll tell you what we'll do. we're going to bring up, one sec here. All right. So let's bring up an early CAD. This is one of them without the barrel. And it's as you can see, it's beautiful. It's white. There it is. Okay, so this is what we call Triamid. As you can see, it's kind of like a pyramid kind of pattern. It repeats. It's over most of the body. We've got a swoop going on here. This is early design. This is not our trigger. Our foregrip's a little different now these days. This doesn't have the barrel, but you get the idea. This is what we call the Triamid design, and the final design you're going to see here in a little bit kind of resembles that pretty closely. I think we stuck to it pretty good. I'll show you one more angle of it. A little bit different angle. So again, some of these things aren't shown. Our foregrip, our low rise, the barrel. This is early design, but this is our 5-axis Triamid design, and you're going to see here in a second that we have stuck with it, and it looks a lot like it. So again, they said, I don't think that can be machined. And if it can, I don't think it can be polished. So let's go to the freak back. This is an important part of it, of our concept, at least our theory. And that's an early CAD of our freak back. You can see it continues the pattern. So one thing we played with was the holes. So again, we spend too much time on minor details, but that's one thing that sets us apart. And so we said, well, you got to be able to see a little bit of the insert if you're using collared ones. And then we had a hole, and then it was too big, so we went small. And then Chad and our company said it's got to be able to get a Q-tip or a rag in for the X-ball guys. If you just wipe it down, you fill this hole up. You got to make it. So we made the hole big enough for a rag and a Q-tip. We just tend to overthink stuff a little bit too much. But anyway, it turned out. So the question is, can we actually, machine that? And we did. And then can we polish it? Well, I think we did. Let's see if I can bring this up here. There is an actual Adrenaline Lux freak back, polished, looks like mirror. I can't wait to show you. It's going to get better. I'm about to drop some more bombs on you boys. But that is the freak back itself, and it polished up just fine. So that was kind of the first stage, and can we do this or not? So let me go back to the list. I'm going to show you the rest of the gun here in just a minute. So we talked about the mount weight improvements, stainless steel insert. I'm going to try to go as fast as I can because we did a lot here. So the F16 bolt system, what that is basically the Adrenaline bolt system. And why is it's called the F16? One, we always like, airplanes, stuff like that. But two, we had 15 failed designs. So we made 15 Adrenaline bolt systems for the Lux. They all tanked. I mean, they didn't tank, actually. Everybody would have loved the 11th and the 12th and the 13th and the 14th and the 15th. But we made the 16th, and I said, are we done now? And he said, yeah, I think this is it. And I agreed. And I said, well, that's awesome because this is a 16th formula. So I'm going to call it the F16. So that's why we call it that. It just took us 16 formulas to get it right. What it is it does a couple things. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the actual bolt design itself. In the face of it, let me see if I can, I'm going to go back to split screen here. Nope. There we go. So the face of the bolt looks like this. It's my kitchen counter, so it's kind of rudimentary, but you get the idea. So this is our bolt on the left. It's a hybrid, full face, hybrid, open face. So it's got stuff going on here on the outer edges and the inside. It's really open flow, so it has almost no flow restriction, but it is a hybrid going on. And you say, what's going on here? That's kind of funky. What is it? It's not like a Venturi bolt. What do you got going on here? Well, the main reason we did this is there's a guy on our team, Brian Bailey. He's our cocker guy. If we ever make a Adrenaline cocker, he'll have to stay at my house for like 6 months. And he said, when I look down on the Adrenaline shocker, I don't like it that the ball's really far back. And I said, well, that's just part of the design. And one of the things we tried to fix on that was, or at least tweak on it, is that concept. So if I bring up this is kind of what this is our mindset on it. So a standard open face, it kind of lets the ball sit back a little bit. So it looks like this. Well, on electronic, it doesn't make a difference in electronic, but on mechanical, which is something we're really focused on, and you're about to find out, a lot about the mechanical Lux, is when the ball goes forward, the first thing that happens is the ball that's waiting has an upward motion. So it tends to want to go up right at the top of this ball and come back down. Well, when you're trying to feed as fast as possible, the last thing you want is for for this next ball to have an upward motion. You want it to be sitting, hopefully, here on top. So the first thing it does is want to drop. So what we did was try to bring the balls to be stacked on top of each other, more like this. There you go. So that's the concept. And you say, well, that bolt, it's a hybrid. I don't see how it does that. So here is two bolts, two Adrenaline bolts. One was open face first generation, it actually wasn't even Formula One. The other one's the other one next to it. These balls are side by side. These are ICPL. Just grabbed them on my pod. In fact, that's the crop shot. Let me see if I can just find the candid shot. All right, here's the candid shot, and then I took the balls and swapped them just in case somebody said, "Oh, you've got a big fat ball on the right and a skinny ball on the left." This is the same lineup, and I just swapped the balls. So you can see how it brings it forward, and that's that concept. That's the first part of the F16 bolt. That's one of the processes. Also, I like how the flow kind of way cups the bolt. So we're really freaks about how particular we are, and that's why it took us 16 times to get this right. But we're pumped about it. But that's not it. That's not the only thing. Let's go back to the feature list. It's on down a little bit, so we're going to skip forward and I'll come back. Or I'll just talk about this. This is a brief one. We basically redesigned the airflow to allow for brittle paint. That's not in the bolt, that's in the gun itself. It's so much more capable of handling brittle paint that it's almost a non-factor. We're really, really pumped about that. I'm not going to go too much detail of what happens there because that may or may not be a next-gen feature, but it is much improved over what we were seeing before. But the one thing I do want to talk about is what's next is the tungsten disulfide treatment on the bolt and the bolt can, because we're still talking about our bolt system. So when we made the Adrenaline shocker, we said, hey, let's put the Lux, the ice coating on it. It's an amazing, it's super slick and hard. It's a great coating. The shocker doesn't have it. It's a huge upgrade. We go to Lux. Well, now we have a much higher budget. Do we want to do ice coating on it? Do we want to do something a little crazier? So I talked to the people at DLX. I said, look, give me a week. When he asked about that, I said, give me a week. I want to learn everything there is to know about coatings. I'll get back to you. And I literally read everything. I'm reading white papers, all kinds of craziness. And really what I found is, there's things that are slicker than ice, but they aren't as hard. So you got like things you've heard of like Teflon and Xylon. You've heard of Teflon Dawn. Well, Teflon's a lot slicker, but it's not as hard. So you have these things with a friction coefficient of like, let's say 0.09 that is super slick, but just not hard. It doesn't wear. Well, I got doing more and more research and I've discovered something that is the slickest thing on planet Earth. No one can ever come up with anything slicker. If they do, it has to be invented. But it's stupid expensive. It's very hard. And there's a requirement to do a lot of them because they don't work for paintball companies. And that is the tungsten disulfide. And the nickname for that is WS2. I'm not even trying to keep it a secret. I'm not going to say we got this special secret coating. That's what it is. It's so damn expensive and so hard to do that's what we use. It's not a secret. In fact, here, if you want to read about it, here's where you can read about it. I'll give you a couple web pages. Here's one. This is on NASA. So I'll bring a couple over. So tungsten disulfide was invented for NASA. So you can't send a rocket ship into space with Gold Cup oil or Dow 33. It just won't work. You have super high temperatures on the outside when in re-entry, high temperatures on the inside with the rocket engine, low temperatures on the outside when you're out in outer space. So when they were doing the Mariner mission, they said, we need a dry lubricant, no lubricant whatsoever, dry. And they said, can someone invent a dry lubricant that is good for sending rocket ships into outer space? And so this company invented tungsten disulfide, and it is the slickest thing you can get for coating, and it's for rocket ships. NASA is still one of the #1 customers of this company. The company that did our stuff does it for NASA, and McDonnell Douglas and Raytheon and Adrenaline, all those big aerospace guys. So anyway, its friction coefficient is about 1/3 of Teflon and Xylon. I mean, it's off the charts. It's 0.03, 0.025, which means almost zero friction. Its hardness is off. I mean, it's used in rocket ships. NASA is their #1 customer. I mean, that should be enough. But you're more than welcome to read about it. All you have to do, here's another white paper. Just go to type in NASA and WS2 or NASA and the chemical formula I gave you, tungsten disulfide, and you can read all about it. It's not meant for paintball guns. So when we called them, I said, hey, I want to put this stuff on my paintball gun. They said, you don't need this on your paintball gun. That doesn't make sense. And I said, I know I don't need it. You're right. But we're trying to make the best paintball gun on the planet again. And we really want to put this on it. I think it'll make a difference. Do you want to be a part of it or not? And we got money. And he said, we're in. Send us some parts. So they tested it. And the only problem was they had to run a decent amount of quantity, more than we make guns. So by then we were hooked. We just had to have this stuff. So we decided to run more. And the only way we could do that is to make enough bolts and bolt cans for the Lux X. So almost all of our stuff is incompatible with that, except the bolt and the bolt can. It will work on a Lux X, and it will have that coating when we come out with it soon enough, because we had to make that kind of run to make it worthwhile for these guys. So we're super excited about that. Feel free to go read. It's not a secret. You can read all about it. We'll post it up. Read about it on NASA. They always joke about us making space guns. Well, some of our stuff does go into space now. So I guess you guys are kind of right about that. Let's go back. So we have the air chamber. I'm not going to pull the bolt system out, but you'll see when you take the bolt system out and you look down the body of the gun, you're going to see that we've carved out some of the air. Everything is about lowering the operating pressure. We've done different areas. One of the things you're going to see is the inside of our Lux does not look like the inside of a Lux X. And you'll see that if you're at World Cup, you'll see it in person. So that leads to this, roughly 1/3 the operating pressure improvement. So Lux X, I think, is a run around 150, and we're running around, right around that 100 mark. We're still doing some final testing. I'd be pumped if we get the double digits, 98, 99, that'd be awesome. But even if we're 103 or something like that, that's pretty groundbreaking. And that with the other feature we did for brittle paint is just, it's a big deal. I mean, we're running 100 PSI. I started with 1,000 PSI automags. So it's a big deal. And we're super excited about the operating pressure. That was one of the big things that really got, what Corey was after without, losing everything else. So the mechanical frame with Adrenaline Timer by Garmin. So that's obviously, we're not going to do a project without some major stuff. We're not going to do milling and anodizing. Well, so, the mechanical frame itself is pretty big, but we're going to do other things too. So one of the things we're going to do is, we're not going to do is a quick change mechanical frame with the Adrenaline Timer built in by Garmin. If you don't know much about Adrenaline, it's a Vivo Fit 4. It's on Amazon for like $72. Every Adrenaline Lux is going to include one of those. And it's about a 25 to 30 second changeover. So it's completely toolless. It is not, it's the lever. Let's get rid of this. I'll show you something. The lever on the release, I'm not going to go into it right now, but is like a feed neck lever. So if you had a feed neck lever, you flip that, the solenoid pops off, you put it in our case. We have a separate case for the mechanical frame, put the other one on, shut the lever back like a feed neck lever, put the frame back on. It's about a 30-second changeover. Because it's so fast, we decided to include a matching ASA with every gun. So every gun is going to have 2 Adrenaline ASAs, one mechanical and one electronic. So because we were not going to do that in the beginning, because we were trying to hit that price point, and finally we just ate that because we were doing a 30-second changeover and then a 2 or 3 minute ASA change. It just didn't make sense. So now everybody gets 2 ASAs. So let's go back. So tool-free conversion in seconds. It's not literally seconds. It's about 30 seconds. Revised grip, ergonomics with water resistance. So you've seen the AMP has a water-resistant grip. The Adrenaline Lux also has a water-resistant grip. The grip ergonomics, if you have an X, you're going to notice when I show you some of this stuff, the difference in the grip. But it's by the grip, I don't mean the rubber part. I mean the grip frame. It's a little bit different. Wireless charging is optional. So it is what it says what it is. So you're going to be able to throw your Lux on a certain optional charging pad and it'll just charge wirelessly. We're excited about that. I don't know how many people are going to use it or not, but why not, right? You're not going to complain that it's included. And then available in full polish. So our anodizers in the United States, they do full polish. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you knew the cost on that, like, it's minimum $100, sometimes $150 to do a full polish on a gun. And you don't see it much anymore. It's tricky. You have a lot of failures. So we always do that. We offer it. It's going to be offered on this one. And then Adrenaline Voices, not a big deal here. I'll finish with that because what we're going to do is basically if you get an Adrenaline signature series, let's say you get the Eric Dearman signature series, then it's going to have his voice. Or if you get the Nicky Cuba signature series, it's going to have his voice. And one of the cool things, so our primary gun is actually not going to ship with, unless you want it to, the Welcome to the Lux Experience Powering On. It's actually going to ship with the voice of Danny Manning. So some of you younger guys may not know who that is, but I reached out to Danny a while back and said, hey, would you be willing to be, he's another person that knew we were thinking about this. Would you be willing to be the voice of the Adrenaline Lux? You're one of the two most famous voices in paintball. If you're young and don't know who he is, he's the voice of Trauma Head. So if you grew up watching Trauma Head videos, you know who Danny is. He's the Trauma Head guy. And it's funny, he first said, can I say whatever I want? And I said, yeah, it's your thing. So he said, well, I'm going to say like, yo, let's fire this bitch up. And I was like, I love it. And then Jessica, my wife, is like, no, it's got to be PG. Think of all the kids that, are working around you when you're working on your gun. And so I said, okay, we'll make like a Danny's director's cut and then like a PG version or something, maybe. I don't know. So anyway, we haven't finalized those two versions yet, but we're still tweaking that. But that's going to be cool. And he's the voice of the primary gun. If you want the English accent, of course, that's yours too. The signature series will have, whoever it is. So, again, Nicky Cuba would have his voice. Some of these New York guys, you may need a translation. That's my advice. So, okay, so that's all the features. I want to go to, give me one sec here. All right, so you've seen, this is the Adrenaline Lux mechanical frame. I don't have one tonight. This is it with the grip. It's fully functional. It's out. It's the prototypes works. It's out machining now. We should have them very, very, very soon. You can see it matches the Triamid design. I wanted to show you though the inside. If you have Adrenaline Shocker, the timer is kind of a pain. So one thing we did is we revised the clamping mechanism. So it's instead of being an O-ring and kind of Adrenaline style, it's more professional. It's a clamp down mechanism. And instead of being on the outside, which created a larger frame, it mirrors the width of the timer so that, shoot, I'm sorry. You're not seeing this. How about you want to see it? Okay, here we go. So now you can see the clamping mechanism that clamps down the timer. And it's narrower than the O-ring. So the actual frame is the same width as a Lux frame. So there's no additional width, like our Shocker was a little wider. So that's the mechanical frame. It's, again, here's the one with the regular grip on it. Don't have those yet, but those should be out very, very soon. So you guys are probably ready for some good stuff. I'm going to show you. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you some photographs, and then we're going to go to pricing and what's included. So if you're ready to see the gun, let's do it. So here's the polished body. We'll start with this. Something they didn't think could be done. And you can see this is the Triamid design. I think it turned out really nice. We're excited about it. You can see all the parts there. This is only just a week ago. And I thank you, Rob, for getting everything done in time. Rob from Blizzard. He didn't sleep for like 2 days so we could show you guys an actual gun tonight. So let's do it. You guys want to see a gun. All right, so I'm going to show you two guns we're doing. First one is a Nebula done by Blizzard Anodizing. I'm just going to go through these pretty good. So you can see, we've already been talking about it. You can see the full barrel design. This is our grip. This is not a CAD or anything. This is an actual gun that's photographed today. We have the same pattern on the feed neck lever. This doesn't have our lightning bolt on the trigger. The lasering, yeah, didn't have time for that. But you can see, other than that, this is a fully finished, pencils down, ready to sell gun. Let's go to another angle. Gives you a feel for it. The only thing I'll say is this is not the water resistant grips. That's the only thing that's not depicted here properly. That's the standard grip. But you can see a little bit different ergonomics in that picture. Let's go with another. I'll post these up too later. There's another good angle. I mean, that sucker's hot. And it's so smooth. Like our impulse was such a problem to wipe down. This one is not a problem at all. As you can see, I mean, you just wipe the whole thing down. So that is a Nebula. Let's go to my boy Corey Field said he may want one day. Well, since you helped, I figured we might as well start off with this pattern. So this is what we did in the shocker, the full send. Corey designed the pattern, and this is it. This is, again, not a CAD or anything. This is an actual gun photographed today. It is a two-tone finish. It's a dust fade, pewter to black with a polished bright orange splash. Let's get a couple more angles of this sucker. And I say it's a little different. It's a little bit heavier, not much, like 5% difference. Don't go around thinking, oh, this is crazy. It's a little heavier. You don't have to work out. If you think you can't pick this thing up as good as a Lux X, then call Spesh or Brandon Unger or Patty Gleason or somebody and get some routines going, because this thing it's ounces heavier. It's mostly a balance thing. And there it is in the back. You can see the skull sticker exposed there. It's hot. We're excited about it. So these two guns that I just showed you just now will be at World Cup at our booth. We'll be in the DLX tent. So come by and see these in person. We'll also have some of our dust ones and some of our polished quick ship ones. So let's talk about that. So quick ship. One of the things I learned in the shocker is that our traditional customers were willing to wait 6, 7, 8 months, a year, no problem. Well, Corey would call me and say, hey, I need a gun. What do you got? And I say, I have nothing. Like, what do you want? I'll make it. It'd be 4 months. And he'd say, that's okay. I'll call you back. And he'd sell somebody something else. And people can't wait. Some people can't. So this time we decided to take our batch, which is just under, it's about 345-ish. And we took just under half of that and made it quick ship patterns. We've never done that before. And we'll have 6 patterns that will be in soon and ready to ship. So for the people that can't wait for full custom, we'll have one for you soon. And those are our cheapest ones. Those are the ones that are not anodized here in the United States. So a little bit cheaper anodizing for us, which would get us in that price ceiling that we wanted to set. So let's talk about that. And I'll go over those patterns. Then we'll go over the full custom option. So because the other half are full custom, the raw. And if you don't know what we do whatever you want. Teal with burgundy, with a maroon splash, you pick it, whatever, we'll make it for you, whether it's good looking or not. So here we go. So on the quick ship, we're coming in at $1999.99. That was our hard number going in. I said, we got to get this thing under 2,000. And we added so much when we thought we were done, just kept taking away from profit. I did not want to go over that hard ceiling on the quick ship. So we just kind of kept eating things. And finally, luckily we finished. My pencils are down. So limited quantities of these available. All features are included. Every single feature on the main one. And it's just in these 6 patterns. So I think 6. Yeah. So you have dust black with polished black accents, dust pewter, polished gold accents, polished purple, polished silver accents, olive drab, polished black accents. And because of our pattern, some people say our pattern kind of looks like a grenade. Jessica's idea was we should do an olive drab that looks like a frag grenade, like a pineapple grenade. So that's kind of what this one is. And then we have a polished pewter with polished pewter accents. That's pewter on pewter. And then a dust black with polished red accents. Those are the 6 quick ship patterns, limited quantity. Those will be available, hopefully, to put under your Christmas tree. So if you just want to get your hands on the new Lux, don't care about all the other stuff I've been talking about recently, those will be quick ship and ready to go. What's included for that $2,000 price? Everything. You get both frames. You get the timer in the frame. Again, that may not mean much to you, but that's like a $70 item. You get 2 ASAs, so you don't have to switch back and forth. You get the main case, the mechanical frame, little add-on case that holds the solenoid and the CVO, or the valve. You get the stainless insert, not a big item, but it is what it is. And so it's fully featured in that package. And I think that's, the bulk of it, and the normal Lux next generation stuff that you'd get. I don't think, wireless charging is ever going to be an included feature. I think that's going to be an option, but I don't know the answer to that. I mean, as far as the charging system. So full custom, we're going to jump up. So this would be almost all of our Outlaw patterns and Blizzard patterns would fall under 2250 basically. So I'm going to post up all of our Blizzard patterns we've done in the past on a shocker. A lot of people, aren't creative enough to know exactly what they want. I'll post them up and say, here it is, Silver Surfer, here it is. And, we have Supreme, we have all these names. And if you can't come up with one, we have about 150 that I'll post in the shocker that you can just say, I want that. And most of our patterns we've done fall within this price range. Sorry, I was looking at something. Most of them fall within this price range. And you can pick your own pattern for most of them. So let's say you say, hey, I don't like what you got, but I want, again, teal with aqua and a green splash. That'll fall within that. If you want something really crazy, not too long ago, someone said something was really wild. I had to get a quote, but most things will fall within that. If you want something done from caustic, we'll have a few of those like the Baba Yaga and War Hardened. We'll have a couple of those up with a price. They're going to be more, he's more expensive. And then if you want something that we haven't done with them before, we're going to have to get you a quote. And same thing, if you want something from Aesthetic, from Tyler, he's different on pricing on all of them. So we have to get you a quote. But Blizzard has hit the ground running. He did these two. He is diving into our first batch of raw ones. We know some are going to be super popular. So he's diving in, some of the ones you've just seen. The outer space one he did, and some of those, we're going to be making those whether somebody asks for them or not. But we only have, I think, 165 raw. So I'm a little nervous that there may be an availability issue there. So we're not going to make any until we know that these aren't going to sell out right away. So again, we'll have about 165 in the quick ships and about 175 or 80, whatever it is, in the raw. And you'll be able to pick what you want, or just if you can't wait, go with the quick ship. Or if you want, I know some of our people will do this, get a quick ship now, under your Christmas tree, and then get a custom made, and we'll send it to you in February, March, or we'll make it by the season, unless it's crazy. I'm going to commit Rob to that now. If you're watching Rob, you got to work hard. So that is basically it, except I thought I would, I'm going to remove this. Go with this, and I'm going to show you some stuff. So let's just remove. Tell you what, I want to do this better. There we go. So again, there's nothing extra to show you other than, what you saw in the picture, but I just wanted to show you that these, that wasn't an artificial drawing. This thing exists. It's real. It's ready to go. We'll have them at World Cup. Come by the booth, check them out. I don't know what we're allowed to talk about in the next generation, but they'll be right next to me. So if there's some things we can't say, you can go ask them and they can say, ask next year. But we'll tell you what, we know about our gun for sure. Whatever it is, our gun includes what it includes. So, and I went over those features. That is pretty much it on the presentation. I told some people earlier I would do a question and answer at the end. I'm going to go back to the main screen here, and I'm just going to see if anyone has any questions. I'll try to answer what I can. I know people have been posting questions all along. I was trying to truck through, so I missed a lot of it. So if you have questions you want to see, post it up real quick. I'll post them up. Poor Rob, that's Blizzard. Yes, you're committed to working hard on these. Maybe you get all the customs done by Christmas. Rob says so. Someone asked, do you have a picture of an olive? I do not, but we hope to have some. That's a good question. We hope to have some dust at Cup. So we hope to have the black on black at Cup. We hope to have the purple at Cup. We hope to have a couple of those. I just saw a great question come up. I want to find it. Here it is. This is a great question. Yes, unfortunately, because of all the changes we made and to make it so damn fast to switch, our mechanical frame is only compatible with the our Lux and the next generation Lux. I know that's going to bum a lot of people out with the Lux X. I apologize. In the beginning, trust me, in September 2019, the plan was to base this on the X. But we just got too far along and innovation, and it just worked that way. So it is not backwards compatible. It is what it is. You're gonna down the road, you'll be grateful for that because there's so many better things because we were able to start from scratch. So no, it's not backwards compatible. We personally have no intention of making a mechanical frame for the X. We started with that, and it was just too complicated. So it will work on any next gen Lux that comes out sometime later next year. I will say this, good segue. We are making extra mechanical grips. So let's say, ask them, let's say the next generation Lux comes out next summer. When it comes out next summer, we will have mechanical grips ready by then waiting. So if you just buy the electronic one from them, save some money, you can later on add the mechanical grip from us and it'll work on the next generation Lux. So we will have that available. By the time the next generation Lux comes out, we will 100% have our grips ready to go. Time frame for custom. So again, Rob's on here. He says no problem at all. No, the reality is we're going to start taking orders now. He just did these two. So it's going to be first come, first serve. Patrick is one of our Flaming Skull bonus ball members, which is our VIPs. Don't forget those limited crew. There's about 15 of you. You get to call your own serial number of this gun. So the single digits will be sold like last time, a little less this time. I think serial number 1 will probably, the right state will be like 1,000 and 9 will be like $100. But 10 to whatever is available. So and Patrick is the highest ranking. So if he wants 10, he'll get it. If he wants 69 or 23 or whatever he wants, he can get the last one in the run. So the Flaming Skull guys, don't forget that, you can call your shot on that except for the single digits. Good question, Alex. So they do not come with our hard case or a Field 1 bag. They come with the next generation Lux case is the answer to that. So our Adrenaline case was super expensive, more than $50 our cost in it. And when, again, I'm trying to keep this under a $3,000 project. So we just had to, cut certain things. So the next generation Lux case is what this will come in. Our mechanical frame doesn't fit in that. So you do get an additional, I'll show that on the website. I will post that on Facebook. You get a little thing for mechanical that if you want to take it with you to transport, it's a little separate zipper for the solenoid and the mech valve. And the inside is for the mech frame with the ASA on it. So good question. You do not get an Adrenaline aluminum case this time. We just had to cut corners to keep it, under budget. Patrick says he wants number 1. That one is one we're selling, so you can get 1 and 10 if you want. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate that. Very nice of you, as always. Let's talk about something. Somebody talked about Spire 4. This is not the answer to that question. I actually don't know the answer to that. We'll find out. I apologize. I don't know the answer to that. This thing is so fresh. I literally finished up some of this stuff today. I drove to DLX today and drove back. So I'm kind of winded. I'm tired. But I do want to talk about one thing we haven't talked about is Adrenaline mid-rise. And this is important. I completely missed this. I hope you're still watching. So on the mechanical side, if you're an electronic guy, you won't care about this. On the mechanical side, this gun cannot be short stroked. Okay. And not only cannot be short stroked, we have yet to chop. So we've been testing it with the BK control loader, with the Spire, low on paint and fanning. And, when we had the trigger competition, Taylor and Rios were faster on that stream, but the spikes, I beat them on the spikes by a couple balls because the Virtue clock just measures the spikes. But we had a 17.1, a 16 point something. In the spikes, you can see me chop when I do it. And always with my shocker, if I get really on it, it'll chop in those spikes. With the Spire or the control hopper, with a low rise, we have yet to chop. And I'm talking when we run it out of paint and it's bouncing around and it stops. This bolt is so lightning fast, we've yet to chop, and you cannot short stroke it. So originally we had a mid-rise and we had 1 ASA. So to come up with the ability to do the same price point, we decided to dump the mid-rise and include the extra ASA because the mid-rise is just not needed anymore. We've still yet to chop. So, And that is attributable to multitude of things. But one, our bolt is so damn fast. But two, it cannot be short stroked on the front end, and on the back end, you'll see it's just the way the QEV is set up. I don't want to give away too much. You can see it at cup, but we've yet to chop. So maybe if you had it sideways, and you could probably do it on purpose, but in real use, and in fact not in real use, we have yet to do it. So we did away with the mid-rise, and that's why there's not one included in the package. And there's one in the world. We made it as a prototype. I know where it's at. He said he's going to keep it one day and maybe sell for like $400 in 10 years. And it's cool because we had the ability to, you just take off the top part, take off the low and put the mid on. It was, the bottom stayed on the gun. It was super sweet, but it was just unnecessary. So we did away with it. So you do not need a rotor for this gun. If you want to use one, have at it. But in mechanical, I don't want to say that eyes are not necessary anymore, but we've yet to chop, and you can fan it all you want, live, and try to prove me wrong. Let's see here. I don't know what all full English that is. So pre-orders, that's a good question. Good question. So we are taking pre-orders this weekend. I meant to basically have I was going to say, hey, the website's going to go live tonight with all of these. Have at it. Anthony does a great job of that, with the twisters, and they do it right in the show. I was going to do the same thing, kind of copy off that, but I did not get the website. All these I have literally probably 200 patterns to put up on the site of shocker jobs so people can kind of use those. And then we'll have the blank palette, design your own. And then we'll have this quick ship. So I'll be working on that this weekend. I will make a post like, hey, I'm going to go live with these at 10 p.m. or whatever on Sunday. I just got to get them all ready and loaded and ready to flip the switch. And then before I flip the switch, I'll let everybody know, hey, we're going to flip the switch. Get ready with your pre-order. Some of you, I'm going to make sure no matter what, you get what you want. Like our 10 or 15 bonus ball or Flaming Skull guys, you're going to get what you want. But for the most part, it's going to be a free-for-all, especially on, I should say, some of these patterns. Most of those quick ship patterns, let's just bring them up. Most of these quick ship patterns are, sorry, let me get this guy out of here. Let's see. The top one is 50 and all the others are 25 a piece-ish, something like that. So, you want the purple one, we're only going to get 25 purple with silver polished. That's it. So it sounds like we have a lot of these when I said the quantities, but when you divide it by 6, some of these are going to be, kind of limited quantities. And it is what it is. So deposit, full price. You may have missed, these are basically ready to go soon. Like I know the next gen Lux is, next year gun. This is a this year gun. So we are, you're going to be paying full price because I'm hoping to ship it to you soon. Like these guns at World Cup, you're not going to be able to buy them from me at World Cup. It's the only 2 I have, but these suckers we're done. So, they're being mass anodized in the patterns I talked about. Rob is getting his batch and he's diving in and if you have custom ones, you're going to be placing them and they're going to go on the first come, first serve, and they're going to be making them. Good question, Steve. Yes, these are standard 45s. That's another segue to the last part I forgot. You will get Adrenaline wood grips for the mech frame too. So everyone gets free Adrenaline grips with to go on the mech frame, and you'll get the rubber grips. So you get both grips, just like we did on the higher levels of the shocker, except all of them include, basically in our Lux, everybody gets everything. There's no, extra add-ons. Now, are we still full custom? Yes. If you want an Inception barrel, get it. If you want Simon to do a trigger shoe on the mech and send it to me, yes, do it. We'll still do full custom. We do a lot of that stuff. I've done, 10, 15 Stella kits on our shockers. We've done, like I said, we did a infamous barrel. Travis hooked me up with an infamous barrel. We did that for someone. If you want something special, we will do full custom. It's not just the collars, but on the stuff that we make, we're giving everything included. Everything is included in that price. We are going to talk about this at Cup. So there is stuff to talk about here. I've dropped enough bombs tonight. I'm not going to drop everything, but there's going to be something else announced on that. Look forward to something cool there, along with some signature series guns from some famous pro players. We're excited about that, but we're going to talk more about that at Cup. So stay tuned on that. But yes, if you want to use Packmeyer grips or anything like that on our mechanical frame, any standard Colt 1911 45 grip will work. Our grips have a cutout for the safety, so just make sure that it fits around the safety. Let's see. I think I went over most of the mods. There's no other mods that at least Adrenaline specific mods that I didn't mention. And I think, I like all the comments I'm seeing, like these kind of comments, but I don't, any other good questions? Yes, that's a full Syndex. That's cool. So Corey said he wanted one. I don't know if he wants this one or not. I'm planning on lasering at 23. If it is, it's the only number that I guess you won't get, Patrick, if somebody wants any of the Flaming Skull guys. If Corey wants this one, I'm putting 23 on it. It'll be for him. But he is going to be shooting. There's no big unveiling of Adrenaline Lux with the Seattle Thunder. This is just a special. He helped me so much on this. This is not a teaser on Seattle Thunder. This is thanks, Corey, for helping on this project. It's not a lead in for Seattle Thunder. All right. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We do offer the alibi like some of the other people do. We will offer an alibi. Congratulations on your spins and wins raffle win. Even if you pay full price, we will offer an alibi in the box if you need it. And there will be, unfortunately, some of these will be expensive. Some of our anodizing patterns are 4 times the cost of our regular anodizing patterns. So some of these could get up, 2,700, something like that. But the bulk of our patterns, again, almost all of our patterns that you've seen will be around that 2,250 area, except for the quick ships. So literally hundreds of options in that price range. But there will be some that, are extravagant and will push it up. It's funny. Justin says this. I did see this post where Corey posted, "It will never happen." Because I read that. Someone said, "I can't wait for the Adrenaline Lux," and Corey said, "Never happen." And someone said, "Yeah, I know, you're right. Just hoping." And I was like, "Oh, that's good." We do like having a big surprise. That's our thing. So I think it's a big bomb drop tonight. Not only, again, the big thing is that we did this meeting in September of 2019. So normally this would have been a 2022 project for you guys, like literally start of the season 2022. Now you're gonna be able to see it at Cup this year because we're about a month ahead of schedule, and you'll be able to play with it in 2021. That was a big surprise for a lot of people. Most of our team did not. Some of our team knew we were maybe making a Lux. No one on our team knew that it was done. Pencils down that our teammates are going to be getting a Lux. We won't have it at World Cup on our team, but the next event, like if we play Rico's in January, we'll be fully outfitted. Our team will have Adrenaline Luxes. So even they didn't know that. That's how secretive we were about this project. Adrenaline CS2, we only do one project at a time. We've never done 2. We did an Angel LCD and a Feather at the same time, and that was a big secret. But for the most part, we do, one at a time. And honestly, right now, we're really embracing kind of being like an R&D wing of DLX Shocker. We're not related to those guys. They don't own us, and we don't have any relationship with them other than, like the bolt release on the Shocker. We got to really work with that, and they helped us a lot. And then in turn, the amp has it, and it's better than ours. Like the bolt release on the amp is a little bit better than ours because we learned, what needs to be fixed. But when we were developing it, they helped us a lot. So I really like that relationship. I'm not saying forever, but it's going really good for us, and we kind of embrace that, and we like being on the cutting edge. So anyway, I'm going to, I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to be available on Facebook. My phone's blown up, so I'm going to have about 200 messages to answer. But we'll be answering questions this weekend on our Facebook, on our email. This is on YouTube. We'll try to answer our YouTube posts. We're simul streaming. I guess if you have next generation questions, you can ask Russell and those guys. They probably won't tell you, hey, we'll talk to you in a month or 2. I'm not at liberty to discuss any more than I've already discussed about that. So anyway, I'm excited about it. Big unveiling. We're excited to show you guys next week. We will be at the booth on Thursday. Come by, you'll see these 2 guns, and you'll see some of the quick ships, we hope. And that's based on customs. That's how close. We barely made these today. But if customs plays well, we'll have some quick ships down there. Come by the booth, weigh it, fill it, do whatever you want with it. We'll show you some of the features. I don't know if we'll have a mech frame there or not. If we do, we'll show that off. If not, you get the concept. You pop off the electronic, pop the mech on. You'll see that though. That's one of the key features. So thanks for joining in. Thanks and thank you, Rob. Thanks for getting these two done. Truly, Rob did not sleep one night this week to get these two done for the show. Not just for World Cup booth, but just so I could have these for the show and the photographs. So anyway, I'm going to post up the photographs. Rob has some more raw ones. He can post those up. Anybody that knew this secret, feel free to talk about it now. And if you have questions, hit me up. Hit us up on Facebook. Like I said, my phone's blowing up. I'll try to get messages as soon as I can. And that is it, boys. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you guys at Cup.